Well, thank you to everyone in the Cricut group who appreciated my little HexaPop Christmas card. I'm really glad everyone liked it. I'd love to be able to do a proper video on how I went about making this, but I have no idea when I'll be able to do that. So I'll at least try and record this to answer some questions. So I did design it in Illustrator and Photoshop, so it wasn't in Design Space. I honestly don't even know how to design in Design Space. But I did make all of the files available, and there is an SVG, so you can at least get this into Design Space. You would just have to design this file. But if you do have Photoshop, I actually did design the file so that it basically, you just load this with all of your pictures. So like right now the center is these balloons. If we change it and save it, it will automatically update all the photos and put them in the correct spot and the correct rotation and everything. So if you have Photoshop, then you can just use this and you're good to go. Otherwise, you would have to get creative and figure out how to make this match the SVG and everything. But I've also designed my own kind of print and cut system. I have these 4 dots in the corner of my document, and I actually punched them out with a small hole punch. And then I have the Cricut draw those exact same 4 dots directly onto the mat. And then I can just align those dots through my hole punches on all 4 corners. And that gets me a pretty darn good registration. So thankfully, like, my printer pretty much prints at 100%. It's slightly off, and I would have to actually go in and adjust it a little bit to make it perfect, but it's definitely good enough for what I'm doing. And that's just it's a pretty handy way to do your own registration, and you can pretty much use the entire page. As far as I can tell, Print to Cut has those huge black lines, and it takes up like a quarter of the page just to do Print to Cut. So just kind of using your own Print to Cut registration system, it works pretty well. So that's how I'm getting everything registered. I also am pre-applying double-sided tape to all of the areas that connect everything together. So I mean, you could just skip that and just use glue, but that just makes it super easy. And it's all designed in essentially one piece that gets folded up. So it all folds up and then meets in the middle. And you might be wondering why the weird shape, why not just 6 triangles? Well, that's actually just a way to make it as big as possible and still be one piece, because if it was triangles, it would extend off the page here. So I basically just taken the part of the triangle that I couldn't put here, and I put it at the top and bottom. So it's just kind of a hack to make it just a little bit bigger. So then it just fits kind of puzzle pieces together. And to secure that together, I have this hexagon, which is just slightly smaller than the center piece, and you just peel off the tape, and then it just makes it really easy to stick all of those pieces down, and then you just cap it off with the bottom piece. And then that holds everything in place really well. But before doing that, you need to install the rubber bands. And I'm just using some Rainbow Loom rubber bands from Michaels. They're just these small rubber bands. And to install them, I have these 3D printed little hooks. And they just go into the 2 edges there, and the Cricut pre-cuts those holes where they slide in, and they just pop in. And then you just put a rubber band on those 2 hooks and use 2 rubber bands just to give it enough popping force. And then so you do that first, and then fold it flat, and then you put on the little piece, tape it all together, and then you have the HexaPop. Now, if you don't have a 3D printer, you should be able to just use a paper clip or string or any number of ways to attach that rubber band. This just made the most sense for me, and it just works really well. And it's clear filament, so you barely even see it on the outside there. Now, one thing I discovered kind of halfway through is I figured I'd try putting some clear contact sheet over top of it, And that made a huge difference. It gives it a nice glossy look, but it also helps stop the cracking that I was getting on the cardboard. It makes it a lot cleaner. It's helping kind of prevent that. So I pre-applied the contact paper on the ones that I have left to do, but unfortunately I had already cut about 25, so I have to go in, put the contact paper on those, and then manually cut all those out, which kind of sucks, but it's pretty easy to slice through the contact paper. So it's annoying, but it's worth it, because I think it looks a lot better with the contact paper. And again, it's printed on super thick card stock that I got off Amazon. So it's like 130 pounds or 150 pounds or something. It's really thick. So if you don't have something that thick, you might want to like glue a couple of sheets together or something like that. But you definitely want to use thicker paper, because anything thinner, it'll just kind of collapse under the pressure of the rubber band. Now, one other thing, and it's completely optional and definitely a luxury, if you can get one, I can't recommend enough, an automatic tape feeder. It is just so handy to just be able to get immediate, correctly sized pieces of tape to tape this thing down. It's also just super fun. Yeah. You will not be disappointed if you get one. But I think that's most of everything. That's kind of what it is. And again, I'm really glad everyone likes it. And I hope you can, if anyone can make use of the files, go ahead, have at them. They should be in the link. Oh, and also, since I had just kind of some blank space up here that I didn't need for anything, because I just had these two down here for the top and the connector, I figured I'd just make like a little card. And so here I can actually like write something in the quote unquote card. Otherwise, there really wasn't anywhere to write. I mean, I could have left like the bottom blank for writing, but I figured since I had that space, so I just have this nice little tiny card that can go with it. And it literally just fits inside of a 5.25 by 7.25 envelope. It literally could not be any taller, wider. And I checked, and the post office said with that and the little card, it's still underweight for one stamp. So it should be able to go with one stamp. Here's hoping. I might just have a whole bunch of Christmas cards coming back, return to sender. We'll find out. But again, thank you very much. I hope this video helps. I'm sorry it's not more betterly produced. Maybe, hopefully, I'll do that sometime in the future. But if anyone really wants to try and get one of these done for Christmas, hopefully this helps you understand what I've done. Well, thank you very much.